problem in winter for ticks, and it's, well, we're quite happy about it, the rest I'm sure the animals are, and we as humans are too, is that in winter you haven't got any of this long grass. It gets eaten, devoured up by the various animals, and the ticks have got nothing to sit on. So what they'll do is they'll find a nice animal pathway, so a route that an animal likes to use on a regular basis, and they sit on the tall grass, and as an animal walks through, they brush through that grass, and those ticks will grab on and hold on tight. So winter is tough for the ticks, which is great. Bring on winter! I'm excited for winter. I cannot wait. Craig hasn't seen a winter in the Lowveld yet, and I said to him today that he's going to absolutely love it. We're not anywhere near Buffelshoek just yet. Oh, Buffelshoek Dam, sorry, we're still quite away. We're making our way there. We'll get there eventually. But let's shoot across onto Brent's vehicle, and well, I just wish that he has had all the luck in the world with tracking those animals.
Taylor, I'm at Buffelshoek Dam. And we've got some hippopotamuses. Hippopotami. Isn't that wonderful? To have so. Oh, Brian doesn't like you. I was actually hoping to add some bird species, because of course I'm supposed to be getting to 100 bird species before I go on leave, and I actually forgot to check how many I'm on. But there we go, the hippos are, oh, they're coming to have a closer look. And where am I looking for? My birds. And I am on 26 bird species for the March bird list. And I'm sure we should be able to add one or two. Hello, hippos. I'll read through the birds quickly while the hippos move towards us. We have got both the European and carmine beaters, bronze-winged courser, Cape turtle dove, laughing dove, fork-tailed drongo, African fish eagle, brown snake eagle, Warburg's eagle, cattle egret, Egyptian goose, striated heron, red and yellow-billed hornbill, woodlands kingfisher, yellow-billed kite, crowned lapwing, monotonous lark, red-billed oxpecker, European roller, lilac-breasted roller, magpie shrike, saddle-billed stork, water thickney, village weaver, and a red-collared widowbird. Not bad, and we haven't really put our mind to birding for a while. So there we go, Brian, that looks like a flycatcher to me. Keep going. Oh, hello, hippos. There we go, well spotted. Let's have a look. Oh, no, it's not. I take that back. It's a shrike. Now, it's quite far away. I'm just trying to see whether it's the lesser grey or is it a funny-looking redback. It's a redback. Female redback shrike. Well, we don't have that one on the list yet. And, of course, Brian and I have decided, while we're doing the bird challenge, one of the mornings that we're together, the killer bees will be in sync on song, and we're going to try get to that magical 50 bird species in a single game drive. It's definitely going to have to be a morning drive, I think, and hopefully we can definitely get there. I think it's going to be a little bit easier with all the water around and the wading birds. Now, Lynn is wondering, are the hornbills the same, just with different coloured bills? No, they're not. They're actually different species altogether, Lynn. Isn't this pretty? How much water is this, Brian? It's so spectacular. Do you remember if I said blacksmith lapwing on my list? You don't? Oh dear. I'm going to have to check it again. I think I did. I said crowned lapwing. No blacksmith lapwing. Oh, let's go a bit forward. It is so stunning, and we have got the most gorgeous light this evening. Hello, hippopotamones. Now, where did those blacksmith lapwings disappear to? Ah, I know one I forgot off my list, which is the three-banded plover we saw last night. There's the lapwing, right in front of us, on the road. Yay for the blacksmith lapwings. And they even look absolutely stunning in this light. And they will be ecstatic with the amount of water around. Of course, it means they can move all over the place. Well, how's that, right? I think we just jumped to... Oh, wader, small. Who's ready? Now we're birding seriously. Sneaky, sneaky. There's a three-banded plover there, but that's not what I was after. We've seen one of those. You see that little, there we go, pretty little bird. But I saw a bigger sandpiper. Where did it disappear to, though? Oh no, it's made a disappearing act. Oh, red-billed buffalo weavers at the nest. No, not too much happening. Did he go inside? Sneaky little devil. Oh, there, is that not him at the bottom there? No, is that where you were? I think I just saw a tail pop out. Right? Oh, buffalo weaver. We didn't see him. He doesn't count. There he is. No, that's not. That's a fork-tailed drongo. Where'd that buffalo weaver go? Oh, there we go. Brian, well done. Brian's found the red-billed buffalo weaver. Okay, well, let's take off our red-billed buffalo weaver. While we do that, let's go back to bushwalk to see how they're doing.
Well, Dave and myself are appreciating the sheer beauty of the evening with this absolutely massive cumulonimbus cloud that's built up over Kruger. Looks like it's raining there as well, quite heavily. So the storms have not yet vanished, but they have provided us with some really, truly lovely water around here. I mean, there's just a random puddle here, in the middle of the bush, in the middle of nowhere, from all of the seep lines. That's what Brent was talking about, and the fact that we probably, even if we find Karula, probably won't be able to guide the vehicles in here. We're going to talk some more about tree identification, but I want to show you something first, because we had a question about ticks walking through the long grass. And I've left it on there for the purpose of this. One is a freckle, one is an old tick bite, and one is an actual tick. That is the actual tick.
Whoa.
Whoa. And that's what causes these horrible little itchy bites that just don't go away and don't go away and don't go away for about 3 weeks. Steph's plotted out the exact speed at which they develop into weeping sores and then become scabby. And then the skin stays thin for an extra week or so. So you have them for about 3 weeks. And then even once it's healed, the slightest knock makes it itch and then bleed again. So there you go. I can't remember who's asking me about ticks, but that is a tick. You can go now. You are no longer welcome, you fat, engorged pepper tick. Get off me. Right, we're going to carry on with our bushwalk tree identification segment. Now, we've just come into an area. I wanted to show you a little bit more about what I was talking about with marulas and so on, but we've come into an area that isn't particularly good for them. Now this, not really a tree, it is a bush, and it is a white berry bush. So leaves all sort of clustered together, and spines, basically the little branchlets grow as spines. So a spine is a modified branch, a thorn is a modified leaf. That's something important to remember. Ask Brent about the conversation we had about spines and leaves. It was interesting. It was very entertaining. So this is a white berry bush. Remember the shape of the leaves. You're looking for the positioning of the leaves, the shape of the leaves, and the way that the bush grows in a kind of a sort of a chaotic, almost fountain-like manner with multiple stems. And of course these beautifully, perfectly, what would we call it? They're just perfect leaves. It's beautiful. So that is what the leaf of a white berry bush looks like. I promised you a knob thorn. Is this even a knob thorn? Or is it a slightly strangled black monkey thorn? It's a black monkey thorn. It does look a little bit like a knob thorn, but it is a black monkey thorn. And the reason that I know that, if we have a look here, Dave, look at the color of the thorns. They're much, much darker than the rest of the bark. Hooked just like a knob thorn, and the leaves are a very similar shape, but those thorns are nice and dark black, so black monkey thorn. Maddle, just to go back to our discussion about ticks. Maddle, you want to know if they carry diseases like Lyme disease. They don't fortunately carry Lyme disease. Ours are not as serious as the ticks that you can, or the tick bites you can receive in Europe or the Americas. They carry a rickettsia bacteria, tick bite fever, essentially, which is like getting a really nasty flu. Your glands, particularly in your groin, or the glands closest to the bite, swell up. The bite itself goes black in color, and it is, as I said, like having a really nasty flu. Lots of different strains, so you'll find that if you let yourself ride the wave of it, you'll probably be okay in the area that you're working in terms of immunity for a while. But it's horrible, and it can very easily be treated by a course of doxycycline. Nothing too major. I haven't had it that often. I've had it once, and even then it wasn't too serious. I haven't had it since, despite the number of tick bites I've been receiving. Next tree on our list is the silver cluster leaf. Very easily identifiable tree, and of course they grow lots on seep lines. So, identifying features, the leaves look silver, hence the name. They are all clustered at the end of the branches, hence the name silver cluster leaf, Terminalia sericea. Not to be confused with the low-felt cluster leaf, which we don't see that often around here, which has bright purple seeds. Purple pod cluster leaf. Very pretty tree, and also very, very high in tannins. And when you eat the leaves, it makes your mouth go, dries up all of your saliva very quickly. Okay, what's next on our tree list in terms of a basic crash course in trees? Well, we're going into silver cluster leaf heaven at the moment. We're getting to some marula trees though, so we'll go into a little bit about how you identify marula trees when we find some. So the trick, one of the best ways to learn trees, when I was first being taught the various trees, I love trees, being taught about the various trees was in winter, when half of them don't have leaves, which is actually a great way to learn, because you learn to identify the trees by their bark, which is quite useful. Immediately, looking from afar, you can tell that this is a buffalo thorn because of the color of the leaves. They are bright green and shiny. They've got an almost waxy covering to them. Now the thorns are a dead giveaway because of course buffalo thorn's famous for one hooked thorn and one straight thorn. And it's James's favorite Latin name, I believe, Ziziphus macronata. He says that you can't be angry if you say the word Ziziphus enough times. It's like saying the word bubble. It's impossible to say the word bubble in an angry tone of voice. Try it. See if you can get it right. Now that is a buffalo thorn. You can eat the leaves as a sort of a spinach. Now I'm going to move out of the area where there's the least tree diversity in this entire reserve and go and find a slightly better spot for trees. While we do that, let's go back over to Taylor and find out where she is.
So we are driving around at the moment. We are on we are going towards Sydney's Dam to have a quick squiz around there, and it's actually got quite chilly all of a sudden, which is lovely, very, very nice. Let me show you this very pretty cloud. Now we're still searching for hornbills because we have got our challenge as to how many hornbills we can see this afternoon. A real treat would be to see a southern ground hornbill, but I haven't heard any of them calling. I don't know how lucky we will be, but look how pretty that cloud is up there. It is beautiful. It almost looks like a painting. It almost looks like an elephant, don't you think? With a trunk and then its ears at the back. I think that looks very much like an elephant. What do you think, Craig?
Yeah.
Do you see an elephant?
Yeah.
It's an abstract elephant, and of course with cloud watching you do have to use your imagination slightly, but I just love the way that the sun is illuminating that cloud. That really is a cloud with not a silver lining but a golden lining this afternoon, and it is a developing cumulonimbus cloud. Ooh. So that means you saw one big one with Jamie earlier, and there's a couple that are building up all around us. I'm wondering if we're going to get a storm again, because there's one spectacular one. It's a bit hard to see, but it's behind us now. It's coming from the east. If we get another point, we'll show you. Craig and I have been keeping a close eye on it as it gets bigger and bigger, and it's almost tripled in size. Oh, there's a hornbill. Yay! Quickly get your screenshots on. Remember, hashtag Safari Live with all your screenshots and put them together, make a collage, be creative. It'll be nice just to have a look at them. And I think it's quite a fun game to play, is see how many of a certain species of birds you can get, because there are lots of different kinds out here. Obviously we get the yellow-billed hornbill, the southern yellow-billed, which is one of the more common ones, and then of course the southern red-billed hornbill, which again is another common one. The African grey, which is quite shy, they're around, but they're not as easy to photograph as these lovely guys. And then occasionally we'll see the crowned. Brent heard trumpeter hornbills the other day, or actually a few weeks ago at the dam, so that would be a very special one to see. If we've got any big fig trees, if we can find a big fig tree, that would be a good one. We'll definitely have a chance to find some trumpeters. And what else? And then of course the best one, my favorite hornbill, which is the southern ground hornbill. I don't know if we'll get lucky enough today to see one of those. Craig, have you ever seen a trumpeter hornbill before? You're not sure? You may have heard one. It sort of goes, now I've forgotten the noise, make wah, wah, wah. It's the most annoying noise. I'm just checking in this little puddle here to see if there's anything, but it doesn't look like much. I can't even see any tadpoles. The water is so murky. You hear babblers making a big noise though, but that's a nice little pool of water. Where are those babblers shouting? Oh, I can see them. I'm going to reverse. Let's see if we can have a look at some babblers. They're also not the easiest birds to capture. Oh, they're having a territorial dispute. It sounds like they were fighting on either side of the road. I'm going to park. Hopefully we'll get a quick view. Babbies, where are you? Oh, okay, Craig. So if you go, you see there's that very bright green tree? In front of that there's a dead tree. They're hopping along straight in there. If you zoom straight in, you can hear them. There's one. Can you see? Top right. There they are. They're the arrow-marked babblers. Well done, Craig. That was really good. Now this is the one gang of babblers. They should respond shortly because the ones on the left have just finished shouting. So this is what they do. They're very territorial birds, and normally they battle it out by calling. This one has decided. These two have settled down. They're grooming themselves. Look at them go. Look, they're all grooming each other now. Hello, little ones. Oh, that's really cool. I haven't seen arrow-marked babblers and got them on camera for a very, very long time. So I hope you enjoyed that. But before Brent's bird disappears, he's got a very soggy one, and I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit more about it.
I'm not quite sure what Taylor's on about, but we've got a red-crested Korhaan, the suicide bird, but suicide season is over. There is a tiny baby with that female. I'm just trying to get a view before she scuttles off. So they're not taking off, they're just keeping in the grass. Now baby's defense will actually to drop and not move at all. Can we see? Baby was just behind mom. Now there's mom. Where's the little one gone? Let's see if the... Oh, there's the baby. It's just to the right of her, Brian, where that stick is. It's right behind her now. Okay, let me just try and get into a slightly better spot. The baby. There's the baby. Look, there's the baby. Look, just to the left of her. Come out. Where's she now? There, you see the grass moving? There's the baby. A tiny little Korhaan. Off it scuttles. We might get another view. It's going to come out, Brian says. There it is. Look at that, isn't it cute? Following Mom through the grass. So, suicide season's over. And obviously, there was obviously a very daredevil male that attracted this lady's attention. And now she has a baby. Now, they'll nest on the ground. Oh, I can hear the male calling. Isn't that cool? A baby red-crested Korhaan. I think that's the first baby red-crested Korhaan I've seen on Safari Live. Brian, this is yours?
Yep.
Yeah. That is very, very cool. And bird number 31. Shame, we don't want to disturb her too much. Having little ones is stressful. Now we're on Cheetah cut line, just in case that mating pair of lions has come back. But so far, what's the expression? No dice. No tracks yet. Oh, she's coming back down to the road. Is baby still with her? There's baby. Oh. A little bit bottom left of corners, baby. There we go. Hey, there's the little one. Sticking close to Mom. It's a miniature version of Mom, a perfect miniature version. You can see how well their camouflage works. Oh, Mom's stopping. Mom's relaxed. She's stopping for a few grass seeds. You can see that. It's a miniature version of Mom. Oh, he's so cool. Cute. Now, difficult to say whether it's a male or female at this age. So pretty. Oh, itchy, yeah? Mom is... I can't see Mom. Oh, there's Mom. I can see her now. But they're heading... Oh, so cute. Mom, where'd you go? There you are, Mom. Can see how much smaller it is there. And you can hear the male calling in the distance again. Look at that, they're disappearing into the round leaf teak now. And, oh, wasn't that special? Definitely not something you see every day, and they are so well hidden, those little ones. And, of course, the males do that wonderful suicide dance. And Jackie J is wondering if they only have one chick. I think they might have two. I'm just going to check for you quickly. Distribution breeding is what we want. And okay, here we go. Yeah, 1 to 2, as I suspected. So it just depends. It can have 1 or 2. Oh no, nothing's been walking down the road. Erin is wondering, are they nocturnal? They're not. They're actually diurnal. They will rest in the night. Well, there was such a big dung beetle that flew past, I thought it was a bird. Now we are getting to that time of the day where the sun starts setting, the guards start changing. So I think we're going to head down towards some low-lying areas and hopefully we'll pick up a few more bird species. It's so beautiful this evening after the rain. The skies are quite clear and it's just magic light. Beautiful, Brian. Now we just need some birds in the light. Now when you're on the crests like we are at the moment, the birds normally move in bird parties, and so you can go through long periods with no birds and then suddenly you'll have 5 or 6 different species together. Now, let me just check that track quickly. It's a hyena. Okay, well, while we continue to look for the lions and some Tweety birds, let's go to Bushbork, who's walking to the west.
Walking through the damp grass and actually really enjoying the atmosphere of the evening, I figured we better finish off with one of the most iconic of the tree species and definitely in my top favorites. But we don't find many big ones in this area. They like the more riverine areas. This, I wonder if you can guess which tree this is. This little chap here. It's a baby. Have a look at the leaves. Wavy margins, not a guarri bush, with the branchlets growing out in spines. It's quite a hardwood. In fact, it's a very hardwood. It's a baby leadwood. So related to the bush willows, and actually in the same family, not in the same genus, but in the same family as the cluster leaf trees. This is a baby leadwood. And the way that you can tell is with growth patterns, it's difficult with a baby leadwood because they don't have that typical crocodile skin type bark. Their bark looks like something like a weeping wattle, not a weeping wattle, a magic guarri. But have a look at the way that the little leaves grow upwards, away from the branches. That is a very nice indicating feature that it is a baby leadwood. Okay, quiz time. Let us see. Okay, great. Let us answer Angela's questions first, and then we'll talk about the quiz. You want to know what my favorite tree is and why? Can I choose 5? Angela, you want to know what my favorite tree is. I have to choose 5, if you don't mind, because I can't properly choose from all of the wonderful trees. Leadwood, because they make the most amazing shapes, and their wood is so hard that it can, even after it's died, stay standing for hundreds of years. And it serves as such amazing homes, and it's just got that beautiful pale bark that makes it so iconic. Fig trees. I really love fig trees, particularly the sycamore fig or the low felt cluster fig, and the Natal mahogany, because they're beautiful, they're thick dark foliage. And I'm going to be a cliche and say a jackalberry, because they're beautiful. We spoke about a jackalberry earlier when we showed you the favorite spot of Karula. Again, big dark trees, African ebony, essentially. And my 5th favorite tree is a surprise. Bolanthanthus speciosus, tree wisteria. I think tree wisterias are beautiful. And now we have one in our garden. Oh, Ananyana trees. No, I can't really add those. And Matumi trees. Oh, no. We'll cut those out. We'll go with those 5 today. Ask me tomorrow, it'll be a different answer. Because there's so many gorgeous trees that line up, especially around a river. There's nothing like looking at the thickets of the river trees. What about you, Dave? Do you have a favorite tree?
I quite like the weeping wattles.
I like the weeping wattles too. Let's see if I'm going to only ask you the trees I've taught you. And this is for Elena, because I know she was the one who was asking about the different trees. Okay. I only am asking you the ones I've taught you. What is that one? Oh, a fever tree. I can't believe I forgot a fever tree. It's not a fever tree, by the way. I wish I'd thought of a fever tree. Lou's right. Fever tree is also high up there on my favorite list. Okay, that is tree A. What is that tree? Tree B is over here. Let's have a closer look at the leaves, otherwise you might get stumped. Haha. Stumped. Never mind. I really shouldn't. Which tree is this one? See if you can guess. Look at the bark. Look at the shape of the leaves. Look at the color of the bark and the texture of the bark as well. There you go. Now Jamie's going to have to remember what trees she's asked you in what order. And let's make an easy one. Tree C. Don't go too close, Dave. That one's so easy. Not the one behind. This one. If you don't get that one, you're getting a smack. A virtual smack. Because I can't obviously transport myself all the way there. And then, tree D. This is just a test to see if you kind of have got an idea of the shape of the leaves and so on. Tree D. This chap over here. Let's give a closer look. Ooh, I'm giving you a tricky one there. Because they always look so odd. Okay, now let me try and remember what I asked you. Okay, I remember what I asked you. Here we go. This is actually really for our younger viewers, if we've got younger viewers watching, because I think for a lot of you this would be, a lot of you who've been watching for years and years know these trees like the back of your hand, like we know them. But it'd be nice to hear from some of our younger viewers, or perhaps some of our newer viewers, about tree identification. Not that our viewers who have been watching for longer can't participate, of course. Is there another one I'm going to quiz you on? Yes, one more, Dave. This one. Tree, what was that? E. Okay. Tree E. Okay. Okay. On we go. Ooh. It's a bit squishy here, Dave. Don't slip on your way through. So much water. Now, one of the things that jackalberries do quite well, marulas as well, and leadwoods, is produce what is known as a sacrificial limb, which is essentially where it can dump toxins, withdraw a whole load of nutrients, particularly in hard times, so it doesn't have to support that limb, and that limb eventually dies off, hence the name sacrificial limb. James, you want to know if it grows it for that purpose, or if it starts to, if that limb is already existing when it becomes the sacrificial limb. I don't think it grows it for that purpose. I think it is a, what did I say? Sacrificial. I'm not sure. Does it sacrifice an existing one, or does it grow one specifically for a sacrificial limb? As far as I know, it's a pre-existing limb. How they choose and the method with which they pick which limb it is, if it's a big one, if it's a small one, if it's one on the right hand side, one on the left hand side, presumably they try to take the least productive limb. That makes sense to me. Watch out for that thorn tree. So for example, if you've got a whole load of limbs on the sort of the northern side of the tree, where the sun is at its zenith and it passes through the sky in the southern hemisphere, perhaps it makes sense to take a limb from the southern side of the tree. I'm not sure how it's chosen, but it is a pre-existing limb. Dave, I've completely forgotten the order with which I asked those trees. I don't know. That's tragic. I can't remember. Oh, I remember A. B. Yes, Patricia. A was indeed a russet bush willow. Well done. There we go. And we have got somewhere with our tree, hopefully with our tree lesson today. A was indeed a russet bush willow. Yep. Tanis, you are correct. T was a silver cluster leaf. I would have been, oh goodness, which we're currently wading through now. I would have been devastated if we hadn't got C right. C is definitely one of our easier ones to identify. What was, oh, I know what B was. I remember now. Nico, he was indeed a bush willow. Remember which one? Turned up at the apex of the end of the leaves, or the apex of the leaves. That slight inward curl, that flick. Which bush willow? I've got a trainer's voice screaming in my ear. Of course it's a bush willow. Which one? Shouting at us. They start to get really confusing when you go into the river bush willows. That's when it really starts to get a bit much, because there's lots of them and they don't look so similar. At least with the variable, large fruited, the red and the russet, they're all kind of similar. There's bees stumping people. Okay, well, we'll leave you all to think about those various trees. Let's go and find out what Taylor's up to. Probably not looking at trees.
Nope, not looking at any trees at all. We put our blinkers on. Craig, don't look at the trees. Focus just down the middle of the road. Of course, that's impossible. No, so Brent and I have decided to do a joint effort. We're both moving back into the area to see if we can find out where Karula has disappeared to. So we're just on Triple M at the moment, just having a quick little squiz around here to see if perhaps Mvula hasn't maybe come back from the west. And it's also to see if the Nkuhumas have moved off. The last time I heard was that the Nkuhumas were on Simambili, so hopefully they'll be back by tomorrow morning, which will be great, and stay on Djuma. So we're just going to jump onto one of these roads, and then we're going to start moving back towards quarantine again, towards that corner where we lost Karula. I don't think she would have gone too far. I reckon that there's so many impala around there. You saw this morning, they're everywhere, and also this afternoon they were all over there, so I'm sure she would have got lucky and caught something. She's just probably hiding it in the very, very long grass, which makes things impossible to see which is going to be the next road that I turn off on. This is always the gamble. You just drive and drive until you get to one. I actually think we've missed, no, a lie, we're here, we've got a road. We're back on Impala Plains Road. Let's go back through this way. Whee! And there's our big cloud that's developing, and we can go a bit further forward and you'll get a nice view of it. Woo! Hold on, Craig. It's like riding a bucking bronco going over this bumpy area. I'm going to show you that beautiful cloud in a moment, because we're at a big open plain now, and we're at Impala Plains. This is where we had the elephant this morning that stuck around for a couple of minutes before he disappeared. There we go. Look how massive. There's actually two big ones are forming in the sky. That one is quite large, and like I said, it's almost quadrupled in size, but you can see it's catching the beautiful rays, or the last rays from the sun. And then we've got another one developing a little bit further to the left, not quite as massive as the cumulonimbus cloud on the right, but pushing through, and I suspect you can see it building up as you go further to the right, that they might join. That is going to bring some impressive lightning, which hopefully we'll get before the drive wraps so that we can have a look at it. There's nothing quite as wonderful as sitting and watching some lightning. Well, I think so. I think it's fun to sit and watch it, as long as it's not over the top of my head. Then I'm quite comfortable with it. Okay, let's go around here. We might check some of Karula's favorite spots where we've seen her with kills before, just to have just to sort of try something different. Maybe we get lucky. But there is so much tall grass here. It's beautiful and lush. No impala. This is unusual. Normally there's always impala on Impala Plains, but not today. Actually, look at this. Look how short the grass is over here. I don't actually know what's happened, why it is so short. Maybe they were developing a fire break that went through here, because you can see there's actually like an old road. It looks like a road, but I think it's too neat. I think it may have been an older Oh, what is... Sorry, something just flew out the grass. I think it was an old fire break that was here. And the reason why that's not warthogs is because warthogs make these big circles on the ground. Like I said, it looks almost like crop circles when they feast, and they go right down to the grass roots, so they actually completely leave a bald spot, so you'll just see a sandy patch, and that's how you know if it's the warthogs that have been destroying grassy areas. Let's go through here, and that's essentially what the grazers do. So for instance, for buffalo, elephants, even zebra, they'll come through and shorten tall grasslands like that, and then you'll get the wildebeest coming through afterwards. We're getting distracted now. We're running out of light to do birds, but there's 2 African hoopoes, de Wiederhopf, just in front of us. Hello. Let's see if we're going to have a little display here. My favorite display is the turtle doves. I love the way that they bob up and down. I can hear some calling. It sounds like there's a male desperately trying to court a female. But you two, you're just very silent, just feeding together. Look how long their bills are. Now, I don't know if any of you see what I'm about to tell you, but if you've ever seen the big thorns on the acacia trees, that's what a hoopoe's bill reminds me of, is a big acacia thorn. It's exactly the same shape and almost the same thickness too. But an acacia thorn doesn't do as good of a job as a hoopoe's bill does. It also doesn't have a sensory nerve running down the middle of it. Hello. Okay, let's continue though. I don't want to get too distracted, because it'll be nice if we do have a bit of light to see if there are any more tracks. She could have been moving. It's cooled down quite a bit, although the whole day has been nice and cool. But I suppose she needs to rest every now and then. And it's always difficult to track, because as soon as you have to put a spotlight on, it doesn't make it easy. Not much. Oh, that's a lovely question, Leslie. You've said, if I could be any animal for a day, what would I be? It's a toss between 2. Maybe a martial eagle, just because I want to know what it feels like to fly and to be one of the largest eagles in the area. And then the other thing would be to be an elephant. I think it would probably to be an elephant for a day. I want to see how much strength one elephant has. I would push everything over that I could find. Not everything, but I'd test my strength. And then also I want to know what it must feel like to have a trunk, and I'd spray everybody. I'd hold water, and I'd travel for long distances and wait till I got to a herd of impala and then sprayed them all. That would be something that I would do if I was an elephant. I'd probably be the most hated elephant in the bush, because I'd just terrorize all the other animals and just have a bit of a laugh. But a martial eagle would be a really great one. Imagine being able to soar around in the sky, or even a vulture, maybe even better, a vulture, so you can go even higher than a martial eagle could go. Either way, any bird would be wonderful. But that's a great question. I wonder what Brent, do you think Brent, because I know Brent absolutely... Sorry, I'm just getting the flies that are finding the culprits that are biting me. Ow, one made me bleed. That's no good. That's a horrible fly. I hope that I squashed it. So I wonder what Brent would be. Maybe he'd be a wild dog, although I know his favorite animal is a wild dog. Whether he'd want to be one, I'm not certain. I don't know if I'd want to be a wild dog, being so low down in the food chain. Jamie? What would Jamie would be? I don't know. We'll have to ask them as well and find out what animals they would like to be for a day. Okay, just sort of planning and deciding which areas I'm going to go. Hang on, let me just put the game radio up a little bit. Just quickly listening and chatting away. Okay, no, I don't know what they're talking about. We'll leave that, we'll find out a little bit later. We are slowly making our way back towards quarantine, scanning around. Hopefully we'll find a spotted cat by the time the sun goes down, which is just now. And we're speaking about the sun going down. You know, Jamie's been walking about. It's getting a little bit dark, so before it gets too dark for her, let's go across and find out what animal she'd like to be, and also I'm sure she'd like to say goodbye.
What a lovely question. What animal would I like to be for a day? I'm starting... Dave and I would just say we both feel unoriginal, because Dave was going to say martial eagle and I was going to say elephant. So we feel a little bit unoriginal on this beautiful bushwalk evening. I was thinking leopard. I was thinking about a leopard just because I think it must be so cool to be that lithe and strong and to be able to leap up into trees whenever you want to. And elephants would just be so amazing because we'd understand so much more about the way that they communicate with each other and talk to each other. I think that would be quite special. Or a wild dog. Race around like a wild dog for a day and be part of that pack. I don't know. It's a very tricky one. An otter might be quite cool. And something that flies. Dave's right. Being something that flies would be amazing. Just to get that feel of what it must be like. You see, I don't think I'd go with a marshal. Although they are very big and powerful. I think I'd go with one of the little falcons or something. Something that can zoom and zip through trees. Imagine how much fun that would be. Something with a little bit of agility. That would be cool. It's a difficult question, Leslie, but it is a very good one. I would not be a termite for a day. There's a conversation I just had with Dave now on the way home. Those poor things. Elena, you want to know if B was a guarri bush. I can't remember what B was. This is a disaster. I don't think B was a guarri bush. I don't think I pointed out a guarri bush. D. Oh, D. D. There we go. D. Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say B had thorns. D was not a guarri bush, but that was a very, very good guess because, of course, it's got the same wavy margins, but the leaves are not as long as they are in a guarri bush. That was actually a bit of a trick question, so that was the hardest one of them all. That was a baby leadwood again. Leaves growing upwards away from the branches, whereas a guarri, oh no, where's a guarri when you need one? There's one ahead. A guarri, I'll show you now. A guarri grows in a slightly different way. So it's slightly more spread out, whereas a leadwood's all angles. A guarri bush is quite soft and floppy. We'll go up to the guarri bush now. D was a baby leadwood, but D was the hardest one of the lot, so don't feel bad because that was actually the most difficult one. D and B was also quite hard because B was done at speed. Actually, they were all a bit tricky. Now I feel guilt. I feel guilty. Shall I give the rest of the answers, Lou? Oh, we've got more. And Nico, it was not a flaky thorn. Good answer though, because it did have flaky bark. It was a black monkey orange again. So I promised I'd only ask the trees that we have already seen and talked about. So it was in fact B was a black monkey thorn. What was A again? A was the russet, B was the black monkey thorn, C was the silver cluster leaf, D was the leadwood, and E, here's the wavy margins of the guarri bush, but it doesn't have the same spikes on its branches. So that was a really good guess, so don't beat yourself up about that one, because it does also, the leaf shape is very similar. The leaves are just slightly smaller than a guarri bush and slightly lighter in color. But to be fair, I also didn't give you a sense of scale, so that's actually my fault. That's my fault for not comparing the two of them. A valid point, because the leaves look very, very similar. So don't worry too much about that. E, do we have an answer for E, Lou? It sounds as though there is an exciting surprise. E was a red bush willow. I can hear a vehicle moving off. We have just done a big circle around something interesting. We're going to say goodbye and good night. We'll catch you on the sunrise safari. Enjoy Taylor's surprise. Bye-bye, everybody.
Look who we've got, look who we've got. We managed to find her. How exciting. We're bumbling along. I'm going to put the spotlight on her. Hello, big girl. Yes, that's a little bit better. I think it's got a bit dark now. But fantastic. So she hasn't done any hunting by the looks of it. I can't see a kill in this tree. She's just been resting up But she does look quite fat, doesn't she? I can't remember how fat she was this morning. If she was this large. Maybe she did catch... And guess who else is here? There's somebody else, I think. I think it's Hosana that's down here. Can I reposition quickly? Let me have a look here. What is going on down here on the floor? I'm going to leave Karula because we know where she is. And it's actually okay to off-road here. It's a sandy crest. I did have a quick check. Hello, little one. Ah, they do have a kill. They've got an impala kill. Here's Hosana. Hi guys, I thought you looked a bit more fat than what you did this morning. This is exciting. I'm going to jump on the game drive radio. I want to call the other guides in because they've been searching for cats. Where Xongile is, I'm trying to find her on the light. So, where is she? Oh, there, right there. My goodness. Sorry, I'm just listening to the game drive radio. I'm just getting a bit distracted here. Here we go. I've turned it down now, and I've called Rexon and Taxon in so they can make their approach. Thanks, Craig. Well spotted. I didn't see her. Oh, she's going to pounce on her brother. Hello. Oh, what a fantastic surprise, Karula. You've done a special job. And, Craig, we're going to reposition again because who wants to see a silhouette of a leopard? Me? I'm quite keen. Craig, are you quite excited to see a silhouette of a leopard? Let's do that. I know we're jumping around a little bit this afternoon, but there's so much to see, and the sky is so beautiful at the moment around Karula. I can't not show you what I'm looking at. Oh, no, I don't know if we're going to get a silhouette. Maybe if I... What do you think? Is that alright, Craig? It's a bit difficult because of all the low branches. No, it's not the silhouette that I was hoping for, but we will try and reposition again. That impala kill, I can't tell you how old it is, if it's a big one, if it's a small one, because it's hidden so much in the grass. There we go. Karula, you waking up now? Yep. She's had a good feed, which is good. You can see her belly is a little bit swollen, so that's quite nice. Come on, girl. No, she's just repositioning again. She's full. She's had enough to eat. She just wants to sleep. She's had a hard day's work. Isn't she a fantastic mother? She always, always succeeds for her little ones. Very nice. Okay, Craig, I promise, let's do one last shuffle. I promise, I know I'm moving around a lot, but it is just, there's so much to see here. And I think now that Hosana has moved out of his spot, we might be able to get a better look at that kill. They have flattened the grass slightly. Let me reposition. Very cool. This is so exciting. Let me see what is going to be the best spot to see all of them. Maybe if we go all the way around, then we can get Karula too. Someone is lurking here. Who's here? Hosana? Are you sitting in the... Yes, I can see you there hiding. Yeah, let's go around over here. Now we should be able to see the kill. Hi, Xongi. No, we can try that again, and then we'll be able to see Karula too. There we go. You can just see her in there. Let me get that. Let me turn my little LED light. That might help as well. That's a bit better. But there she is, and you can just see the kill, which is pretty amazing. Oh, now I'm going to pretend to catch it. And this is my favorite. She's now re-killing it, even though they've eaten most of it. I still can't see if it's a big impala or a small one. But I'm just happy that they've got a meal. So remember, if you have just joined us, welcome. This is a live interactive safari. So if you've got any questions about leopards or anything about safaris, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And that is the best way to get a hold of us. But really cool. After the entire afternoon of searching, my goodness, Jamie put in the hours this afternoon. So did Brent, so did Rexon, Aubrey, Taxon. They all worked so hard. So I feel sorry for them that they didn't get to find them. Because I think out of everybody, we were the last ones to deserve to find these cats. But I'm happy either way. I'm so thrilled. Isn't this wonderful? Thank you for being so lovely too. Now, we're not far. We must be about 10 foot away from Xongile. But because this grass is so long, it's impossible to actually even see it. Luckily, they did, like I said earlier, they'd flattened out that section, which now makes it easier for us to spot them. because if it wasn't for them laying down there, you can see how it's all squashed, we wouldn't be seeing a thing right now. My goodness. I thought I had a good feeling about this. And then you can even see Karula. She's just up top, hiding behind a log. You might just be able to see her one eye and her ear. And she's gazing out into the distance. Hello Alana, who is only 13 years old. You're wondering how long before Hosana will move into his own territory. He's still got a bit of time to go. I'm just going to put the light on there for you. Look at the beautiful spots that she has on her feet. Isn't that nice? So, Alana, what will happen is Karula is known for keeping her male cubs a little bit longer than normal. So he might only leave at about 2 years, just over 2 years old. It really does depend. Xongile will probably go a little bit earlier than that. It'll be just exciting to see, and every litter is different too. So it just depends on the leopard herself. But Xongile, actually, let's have another look at Xongile. She's up. She's standing up. We might get a nice view of her now. She is a perfect example of a perfect leopard cub, really. She's practicing constantly on working on her hunting techniques. She's also eating lots. She catches her own things. So I think before we know it, she's going to go off on her own mission. She doesn't really need to, not for much longer. She won't have to rely on mom. She'll be okay. But they've eaten a lot. They must have been hungry because they've gobbled up this impala. Well, I think that Hosana has done a very good job of eating most of the impala. There you go. You can see. Ah, very cool. Yum, yum, yum. Is that delicious? Pete, you've said you guess that they are not like lions that eat the meal together. I think when Karula first killed it, she probably would have had a munch herself. Otherwise, she never gets a bite in because her greedy son, Hosana, eats it all. But you can sometimes see leopards all feeding together. So Karula would have eaten. She then would have hidden it in the grass. She would have gone to call the cubs and brought them here. And the two of them would have wrestled over the carcass together. And then I'm pretty sure Xongile will get fuller quicker than Hosana will. He's got a ferocious appetite. And so she would have munched away for, it depends I don't know how long she would have eaten for. And then she would have gone to have a little rest. And then Hosana would probably have still been pigging out on this impala carcass. But you can see why he needs to eat more than the rest of them. He's double the size of Xongile, if not even a bit more than double the size. Not quite as tall as Karula, but definitely weighs more than her. So he needs to eat as much as he can. Hello, girl. You are a very pretty leopard, aren't you? Isn't she just beautiful? I'm so happy. I've had a fantastic afternoon. I've been really, really lucky. Got to see my elephants, which I was absolutely hoping for. And then, of course, just to have a spotted surprise towards the end of drive. That's really not a bad way to end your afternoon. And a great sunset. Lynn, you're wondering if how far away are they from the tent? Not far at all. We must be about, as the crow flies, I would say just less than a mile, maybe half a mile away. So we're not far at all. And I reckon that I saw Jamie's tracks and Aubrey's tracks and Darby's tracks as well, all around Zoe's and in this road here. So they could have just walked straight past them. Karula could have been down on the ground in the long grass and you would never see anything. And we also know that their reaction to us on foot is very, very relaxed. So they wouldn't have got up and bolted and possibly revealed themselves, which also makes it a bit more tricky for us. But it's a good thing. We're quite happy that they don't freak out when they see us anymore. Oh, Shongi, you're not enjoying the flies. You and I are in the same boat, my friend. But let's go across to Brent now and see, well, seen as though I've stolen his leopard sighting. Let's go and see what he's going to get up to next.
Well, there we go. An absolutely gorgeous sky on quarantine. Impala and zebra out in the open. And isn't this just spectacular? Now we're asking, everyone was wondering, what animal would you like to be for a day? Brian, what's yours?
I would have to say Some sort of bird.
Some sort of bird. I know what bird I would be for the day. I would be a hardy-dar ibis.
Oh.
And I would follow... Who would I follow? All day. All day for my day as a bird.
Mr. James Henry.
Mr. James Henry. And I would follow him, and I'd get all my hardy-dar friends to join me, and wherever we went, we would just do this. Imagine that for a 24-hour period. I'd make sure one of my friends had sort of a high-pitched voice, because we actually had one at boarding school that had a voice that wasn't so good. He's like high, like strangled. It sounded like it was being strangled all the time. Can you imagine how irritated James would be? It would give me a lot of joy. Yes, we'd have to lock up all firearms. There we go. Hello, zebras. So it's amazing. Now we've got a bit of rain. The zebras are back, taking advantage of the luscious green grass and depositing some fertilizer at the same time. Oh, baby impala having a silly moment. Oh, now they stopped having a silly moment. Come on, there we go. One's coming through. Time to chase each other around. No? Is it over? No, there goes one. trying to get a game going. No one else is playing along. Oh, there we go. Chasing the doves. Da-dung, da-dung, da-dung. Oh, they are incredibly graceful. Look at that. There they come round. Let's try and get a bit closer to them while they're playing. Where are they gone? They took off. Well, there they go. High-speed impalas. Hi, Keegan. Keegan says he's a new viewer. Well, a big welcome to Safari Live then, Keegan. And Keegan would like to know, what reserve are we in? Well, we're on Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is within the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which is part of the Greater Kruger National Park, which is part of the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park in South Africa. Off they go. Now this is playing. Off. Come on, turn towards us now. Whoop. And round the go. Time to get going again. There we go. You got a wildebeest who's they're about to be running past. There we go. And he's doing. Everyone's quite happy on quarantine at the moment. Oh, it is wonderful to see them playing. And the zebra. Oh! Now, of course, it's a very effective way sometimes to avoid predators. That pronking run. So this is all a bit of practice for that as well. That is... Yo! Sped up. Now they're incapable of incredible speeds. Okay, that seems to be the edge of the game. And now they should be turning back towards us shortly. Well, they went a bit further this time. No, time to come back, guys. Where are they? Maybe they've gone the long way around to the other side of quarantine. No, I can't see them coming back. They've done a disappearing act. Well, there's some boys having a little argy-bargy. Practice. Rutting season is on its way. Lovely serene setting here on quarantine. Not a very serious fight, but what are we now? March. Yeah, from now on the fighting is going to get serious. The males are going to start trying to sequester little harems of females and get ready for the mating season. Now, there's another species that's mating season is in full swing. So let's take a meander down to the Djuma pan and see if we can find frogs. Or even last night we had that awesome monitor lizard that was hunting frogs. Janelle would like to know, do impala ever trip? Yes, they do, Janelle. I have seen them trip, but very, very seldom. I have been hoping we're going to catch a white-tailed mongoose or a civet out, but we haven't for a while. We did have that genet last night, though. Okay, let's go see what cacophony the frogs are making. And see if we can find a few more than we did yesterday. At African bullfrog we could hear a lot of frogs yesterday, but seeing them is always a little bit more challenging with all those ventriloquists out there. Safari Corp was wondering when the last time we saw a civet on Safari Live. Wow, I don't know. A long time ago. Months. Okay, so we're arriving at the pan. Spotlight out. Oh, hello Egyptian geese. Bye-bye Egyptian geese. Oh, some... have a quick check here and then we'll check down towards there. And we can hear bubbling casinas, banded rubber frogs, and tiny little dwarf puddle frogs. What's it? Oh, it's under 3-banded plover. There's a terrapin. That's not a frog. In the middle of the spotlight there, Brian. Cruising. Oh, he went under. Naughty terrapin. Okay. What's that there? Is that a frog? Oh no, sorry. Back from the edge of the water.
No, outside.
There we go. See, there's that little white spot there. What is it? A floating bit of debris.
Oh, a feather.
It's a feather. Oh. Well, it's a little early for some of the frog species. They prefer it when it's fully dark. But I was hoping we might find something in these little reeds here. You can hear all the bubbling casinas. Let's have a look. This is where I was hoping to find a frog. Hiding is that? What is that? A marula nut. That is not frog. That is not an amphibian. Painted reed frogs have started. Chip, chip, chip. So as it gets darker, more and more species are going to be joining the Xongile. Now, do you guys know what a Xongile is? If you know what a Xongile is, hashtag Safari Live. Do you know what a Xongile is? Brian! What's a Xongile?
I know what a Xongile is.
You know what a Xongile is?
Give the people time to answer.
Yes, that is true. Josh from England, do you know what a Xongile is?
I was informed yesterday.
Ah, you were informed yesterday about a Xongile. A Xongile can also be referred to as an opskop. What other South Africanisms can you think of, Brian? A Xongile, an opskop. I've gone blank now. There must be a few more. Rich is wondering, is a pan the same as a pond? Well, I'm not too familiar with ponds. I think ponds are generally man-made. I might be wrong. But a pan is a natural depression that is filled up by rainwater. So it doesn't have its own water source. It has to be filled by rain, and it is seasonal. It will dry out during the dry season. Normally, there are some massive pans in certain areas that actually manage to hold water throughout the dry season, especially in the Mopani Veld and the clay soils in Botswana. Now let's see if we get any more luck from around here. Oh dear, that was a bit close. Here's a large hole next to me. That would have been uncomfortable to fall into. Another spot where we could get a frog or two is in this stuff here. On the edge, no, not seeing any. I think it's still a bit risky for them. They're going to wait for it's darker before these guys start making a noise. Now what I'm really hoping, with all the frogs in the water, that we might get to see a black-crowned night heron. I've seen them at Buffelshoek Dam before, but that was in 2015. Okay, well, we're going to try find you a frog. While we do that, let's go back to Miss McCurdy and the Queen of Djuma.
Brent, I'm sure that you're going to have the best of luck with finding frogs. I'm sure they'll be out in full force because the insects are all out in full force. But we've just got Karula, who is still sitting up in the top of a tree, resting, while her little one, well, when I say little one, I just mean Xongile is still eating the carcass, but she's now hidden herself. And Hosana is just focusing on trying to catch his breath as well as chasing the flies at the moment. But it is so hard to get a spot to view of those cubs in the long grass. Now, you may hear another vehicle moving around, because remember, we are on a safari, so there's lots and lots of people that have come from all over the world to come and watch and see these beautiful animals. Now, Karula, if you could please lift your head and turn it towards us, that would be wonderful. That would be ideal. I think she's actually fast asleep, because every now and then I see her paws twitching. So I think she's having a good old dream. But not for now. She's just resting very still. And she's locked in. Look at that. She's got one paw on either side of the log, or two paws on either side of the log. And then she's got her tail dangling between the fork as well. It's quite a funny little pose that she's got at the moment. I can't though imagine how comfortable that must be, if you think about it, because I'm sure they love it though. They're fine, because that's what the pose that leopards always do. But don't you think she's just pushing so much pressure on that full belly that she's got? I think I'd want to get sick if I had to lay flat on my stomach after a big meal. Oh, here's Xongile. She's got up. Let's have a look. This is really nice. We've got this backlighting coming from the other vehicle now. Now, Ellen from Store, I want to look at that golden light. Said, will Karula take that kill up a tree? She might, It's definitely not heavy anymore because they've eaten quite a bit of it. They do run the risk, if they leave it on the ground, they're going to be in a lot of trouble because the hyenas will just come through, and the hyenas are constantly here on quarantine. We see them often first thing in the morning, or at least we hear them. So I'm sure that she will have to take it up, this marula, even if she just puts it in the main fork of the tree, which is not too high. But then again, you know what Xongile and Hosana are like. They're a bit clumsy still. And if they try and sit in the tree and feed on it, they also will just knock it down. So I wonder if Karula has just come to the point where she's like, well, just eat as much as you can because you two drop the carcass all the time and I'm not bothered by that. There she goes. That's really cool. I'm just going to get my spotlight out as well. I don't want to put too many spotlights. Actually, I'm not. It's a bit difficult to see, of course, but I don't want to have too many spotlights on her. But look at that. Hi, Karula. Now, we've just got the LEDs on her at the moment, just because it's a nice bright light that also shines all over the show. Whereas that spotlight, that light is so small and so concentrated, the beam. Sometimes it's difficult to illuminate an entire leopard's body, especially when you're sitting up in the tree like Karula. But it's so peaceful. I can even see 1 or 2 stars starting to pop out now. And I think we may get a bit of a storm because coming from the east and coming from the south, it's just a wall of clouds that look like they could be coming to hit us a bit later. Which will be good, we need the rain. But not too much though, no deluge. We've had enough rain now. We don't want 300 or 400 mils to go in one go. Getting 20 or 30 mils is fine. Now, when we saw Karula, she's fat, but she doesn't look like she's gorged herself like the cubs have. And Christine, you're wondering how much more does a male leopard need to eat? Well, in some cases, a male leopards weigh more than double the female, and especially in Karula's case, like we said, she's not a particularly big female. She definitely weighs between 30 and 40 kilograms, somewhere around there. So that's particularly small. That's like the size. She is the size of maybe a really, really big Cape mountain leopard, the ones that you'd see in the Eastern Cape all the way going towards the Western Cape, towards Cape Town. And males don't get too much bigger. Males probably weigh less than about 50 kilograms, I would say. And the male leopards here in the northern areas, they get massive. You've seen what Anderson looks like. You've seen pictures of Mbavala. They would devour. Let's do it like this. I'm not going to give you how much weight would a leopard eat because I'm not certain. But Anderson male, Mbavala, though Mandlev, another big leopard, the son of Mbavala, they would devour a male impala in, I reckon, 2 days on their own. No problem. Maybe a day and a half, they would eat it. So they've got a ferocious appetite. Whereas Karula, she was on her own. She could catch a big impala and she'd feed on that for a couple of days, maybe edging more towards 3 days. It just depends on how regularly they are catching things too. I suppose that plays a part. But how privileged are we to be sitting out here with the royal family once again? And I love it. I love the fact that they don't stay away for too long. And they tend to just hang around over here. This is so cool. And peaceful. You can hear the nightjars, some crickets. You can hear banded rubber frogs now in the very far distance. I don't know if they exist. Maybe they're fake, those banded rubber frogs. I think it's Tristan playing a game. And just, playing those recordings at the Shibamo Pans, because I don't ever seem to see them. Let's see who else is here. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if we can get another view of Hosana. And just see his tail sticking out in the grass. So we'll just go straight back. Where's Xongile? Is she still there? Cool. Yeah, that's the tail that I can see. Just gonna go back. So it's Xongile's tail that I could see, not Hosana's. There she is. Here we go. Let's do this. Yes, this light's a little bit better. So there's Xongile. She's now done. She's eaten all she can eat, and I'm sure she's eaten a couple of times already today. So she's now just resting up, relaxing, taking it easy. like we're all taking it easy today. It's actually a very nice Monday. Not a bad way to end a Monday night. I don't know, some of you are just starting your Monday morning. Well, not a bad way to start a Monday morning either. So we're all winning. But she's just like her mom. She's just starting to groom herself now. And you'll notice with the cats, they are very clean animals, and they spend a good couple of hours every single day grooming themselves, especially after feasting upon an impala. You can imagine she's got a very dirty face, she's got very dirty paws, so she will keep grooming them and keep them clean. Then she'll lick her paws and she'll use that to wipe her face as well, which is quite nice. She's got her own handy wet towel. Let's have a look at Hosana. Here we go, there's Hosana. Now, John, you've asked how long will it take Xongile to learn to take an impala down? I think she's a bit too small. I think at the moment, it's not necessarily that her hunting skills, they're definitely going to improve, but she's got a disadvantage because of her size. She's not a big like Hosana. She's definitely nowhere near the size of her mother. So this is going to, unfortunately, be a negative to her hunting capabilities until she gets bigger. So she's going to have to keep killing squirrels, mongoose. However, if she comes across a steenbok, I think she'd have a good chance of perhaps catching that. It would be a bit of a battle, but I reckon if she just snuck up to one, she would be good enough now to be able to catch a beautiful little steenbok. Well, I don't think she looks at a steenbok like the way that we do. She just thinks of it as food. But look at her. Have a look at her. She's fast asleep now, belly full. She's exhausted. She's going to have a sleep. So I think we got here just at the right time. We'll try and stick with these cats for a little bit longer and see maybe Karula comes down the tree, which will be wonderful. But I'm going to send you back across to Brent, and I wonder if he's had any luck with finding a frog.
So, well, we can hear hundreds of frogs. Finding them has been a bit challenging because we can't really get down to the water's edge from the vehicle. Now, what did we see? We did see something over here. We want to check in the water here. There was a baby terrapin when we went past a little earlier, but he's also done a disappearing act. Brian, do you think we should throw Josh into the mud? There he is. Well, there he goes. Hello, little guy. Oh, bloop. He doesn't. He wants to hide. Shame. We'll let him hide. Spence would like to know, do frogs go quiet in the presence of predators? Indeed they do, especially nocturnal avian predators like owls, because a lot of them get munched by owls. Remember there used to be a chameleon we see almost every night till the elephants removed this tree, Brian?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago though. Maybe there's a chameleon around here. And we were actually chatting about chameleons very early on today's drive, and we're talking about the speciation of chameleons in isolated forest pockets in Tanzania. I'm surprised I managed to get through all of that without blah, 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 blah. But I stopped. I think a lot of our long-time viewers have seen this picture before, but when I was working in southern Tanzania, there's a giant chameleon species that lives in the Brachystegia woodlands of the Selous Game Reserve. So let's see, let's just get the picture for you. No, I don't want a torch, sorry. Photos, there we go. Oh, look at that. Now that is a chameleon. Hey, Brian. Now those claws are massive, so we used to find them when we were building new roads or bush clearing around camp, but they are, I've never seen them anywhere else outside of Tanzania, but apparently they do occur in northern Zambia as well. But I've only ever seen 3 in my life. I wonder if they occur. No, they won't occur in the Mara. They might occur. No, there's not much Miombo woodland in Kenya. They'll occur further south in Tanzania, maybe in some parts of Uganda. Banded rubber frogs, painted reed frogs. Oh, that one sounds close. Oh, the insects are horrible this evening. See that? Keeping well hidden. Somewhere on the edge of the water down there. I think it's probably just behind this thicket here, Brian. That's what it sounds like. No such luck. Now, Lynn is wondering, will all the snakes be out with the frogs? Most definitely, Lynn. A snake like a Mozambique spitting cobra, one of its favorite meals is a frog. Now, this is the one spot we might get lucky. I don't hear anything calling here at the moment. They all seem to be in the main bit of water. Okay, well, unless our frog search did not end well, but we got to listen to them and see a baby terrapin and a picture of a chameleon. That's quite sad, isn't it, right? But let's go back to Taylor and Karula for the last few minutes. Bye, see you in the morning.
Our darling leopards are fast asleep, so I think that we shouldn't talk too loudly, as I don't want to wake them. No, I'm just teasing. They don't mind us chatting about too much, but I won't talk as loudly as I normally do, mainly because I do not want to disturb the other vehicle that is in the sighting with us, because I can be a bit loud. Most of the time, I'm always loud. But look at Karula, Xongile. She's just like she's dead in the grass, tail all stretched out, flat, and I'm sure she's gone straight into dreamland. Her brother, on the other hand, where is Hosana? I've lost him now. Oh, there he is. Xongile, was that a snore? I think I just may have heard Xongile do a little bit of a snore. It just shows how fast asleep they are. Look at them. They're like splitting images of each other. Good night, guys. I hope you sleep well. But they'll just have a little bit of a nap. And then I'm sure the hunger pains will start to grow, and especially for Hosana, and he'll get up and start munching away. And maybe Karula will be able to come down and eat in peace at some point too. But hasn't it been a fantastic way to end the drive? Really, really have been lucky today. It was great having all of the schools. And to top it off with having the royal family, there's very few things that I think can top a drive like that. But we're coming down now. We're in the last 20 seconds of the show, but we hope that you've enjoyed it. From the whole Wild Earth team, please continue supporting us and sending through those questions, screenshots. We love it, and we look forward to finding out what's going to happen with these leopards on the sunrise safari. See you then.